April 25th, 2026, 8:32 p.m. At the Washington Hilton in the U.S. Capitol, the White House Correspondents' Dinner has been underway for just over half an hour when the first gunshots are heard inside the ballroom. They come from above, from the upper floor, where the Secret Service checkpoint is positioned. A shooter has just appeared in that hallway, carrying a long shotgun, and opened fire just feet from the agents responsible for protecting the ballroom stage. A witness will later count at least 10 shots in rapid succession. Crossfire echoes through the corridor. One agent is hit in the chest. He goes down. Another agent advances over him. A third runs toward the shooter. 3 floors below, in the packed ballroom, the sound arrives like a dry echo from above. 3,000 people in formal wear. Journalists, lawmakers, diplomats, the entire U.S. cabinet. On stage, the President of the United States. For 2 seconds, no one understands. And then the entire room understands at the same time. The agents assigned to presidential protection close in over the stage in tight formation, form a body shield, and pull the president off the platform. The First Lady goes with him. The Vice President is evacuated through a side corridor. Hundreds of guests dive under the round tables.
Get down, everybody!
Up above, another shot, and another. And it's at this moment, in this fraction of a second, when the president is still being pulled away, when the wounded agent hasn't yet stood up, when the shooter is still on his feet with a weapon in his hand, that this video has to pause. Because the story of this attempt does not begin in these 40 seconds of gunfire in the corridor. It begins 20 minutes earlier, in a room that wasn't on anybody's security map. Inside a perimeter set up by the most well-trained protection service in the world. And it's that room and the 20 minutes it sheltered in silence that this video is going to reconstruct. Rewind the clock. 8 p.m. sharp. 40 minutes before the first shot. The White House Correspondents' Dinner is just beginning. 3,000 guests fill the Hilton's main ballroom. The President and First Lady at one of the central tables. The Vice President at another. Around them, the full apparatus of U.S. government protection. The hotel's external perimeter is the most reinforced of the calendar year. Streets shut down 4 blocks out. Drones blocked. Government helicopters monitoring the rooftop. The Secret Service considers the event one of the 5 most sensitive on its calendar. But inside the hotel, life goes on like any other night. Hotel guests circulating between floors. Bar carts in service rooms. Contracted staff dressed as waiters. Elevators in normal use. And in a hallway near the terrace entrance. A room. With no working camera that night. It was in that room that the shooter appeared, 20 minutes before the first shot. Before we go on, if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed yet, pause right now and hit subscribe. Tap the bell. Because reconstruction at this level, fact by fact, minute by minute, no noise, disappears fast from YouTube. This kind of analysis the platform hides, demotes, makes it vanish from your feed. You may never find another channel covering presidential security like this. Subscribe now. Tap the bell. And we go back to the Hilton. Because what comes next is the blind spot. 20 minutes before the first shot. 10th floor of the Washington Hilton. The shooter didn't arrive at the hotel that night. He had been staying on the 10th floor for days. Regular check-in, normal registration, a guest like any other. The Hilton kept operating as a hotel even on the day of the event. Rooms occupied, restaurants open, bars in operation, an entire city inside the same building that was hosting the President of the United States. And here is the first detail that matters.
Starlight service.
Nobody makes a transcontinental crossing to reach this hotel by accident. The shooter boarded a train in Los Angeles, crossed the country to Chicago, took a second train to Washington.
Please step aside.
3 days of travel. Train, not plane.
Now boarding.
A plane checks luggage. A train does not. He arrived at the Hilton days before the dinner. Room booked. Luggage with him. And inside that luggage, according to authorities, a shotgun in pieces, a handgun, several knives. Weapons purchased within the past 2 years. The hotel didn't know. The Secret Service didn't know. Because the hotel's guest screening system doesn't talk to the event's credentialing system. Ordinary guest, external perimeter armored from the outside, vulnerability mounted from the inside. 20 minutes before the first shot, the shooter goes down. Not by the main elevator, by one of the internal service stairs. And he heads toward the floor where the ballroom is taking place. And this is where the room enters the story. The room is not new. It's been in that hallway for decades. It's a service room, the kind the hotel uses to store bar carts between events. Improvised table in the middle. Carts stacked against the walls. One side door opens directly onto the terrace. Another door opens directly onto the hallway leading to the ballroom stairs. That night, the room had no active camera, no agent nearby, no hotel staff standing in it. Helen Mabus, a volunteer at the correspondence dinner, saw the shooter walk in. She herself described it as an improvised room with no security. The shooter went into that room, stayed there long enough to prepare what he needed to prepare. And when he came out running. That silence matters. Because on the floor below, the ballroom held the U.S. President, the First Lady, the Vice President, and the entire cabinet, just feet from the stage. And between the shooter and that stage, there was a single Secret Service checkpoint. One. In the upper hallway of the ballroom. The shooter steps out of the room carrying the shotgun, heads up the stairs toward the checkpoint, and starts to run. He doesn't walk. He doesn't try to blend in. He runs. The Secret Service agents at the checkpoint see the figure entering the corridor. The reaction takes seconds. Presidential protection manuals anticipate exactly this scenario. Armed body in motion inside the inner perimeter. The agents converge. The shooter fires first. The sound of the gunshot echoes through the corridor. One of the agents is hit. The bullet strikes the body armor. He goes down. But the vest absorbs most of the impact. He survives. The other agents respond. Fire is exchanged. The witness in the ballroom below counts at least 10 shots in total.
Look up quickly.
A sequence of gunfire in rapid succession, coming from above, echoing down the staircase. In the ballroom, panic arrives before information. The guests hear the shots without knowing where they're coming from. The first tables drop, then the next. In a wave, women in long gowns under round tables, men in tuxedos pressed flat against the carpet. The Secret Service in the ballroom reacts instantly. The agents assigned to presidential protection, 3 of them covering the stage, close in before the president has even finished processing what is happening.
Keep the formation
Tight formation,
Clear, right.
body shield, no drift, no hesitation,
Move. Keep
no
the principal
confusion.
covered. Clear the exit now.
The president is pulled off the stage. The First Lady goes with him.
Clear right.
The Vice President, at another table, is surrounded by his own protective detail
Moving to waypoint 2.
and pushed toward a service hallway.
Move. Keep
The
them tight.
entire cabinet is evacuated in a choreography that looks rehearsed because it was rehearsed 1,000 times in 1,000 simulations. Up at the checkpoint, the shooter goes down. The agents drive him into the red carpet, hands locked behind his back, shirt torn off in the impact, cuffed, alive. not cooperating. The wounded agent is on his feet, pulling off his vest to check. He's fine. The body armor did its job. And in the ballroom, the chant begins. God bless America. One voice first, then 5, then 50. The song rises from the tables, from the women still on the floor, from the men slowly getting up. The stage is already empty. The president is already in a secure room of the hotel, surrounded by agents. But the chant continues. That is the difference between an attacked event and a terrorized event. What you just watched is not dramatization. It's reconstruction. It happened last Saturday, and it is the third major security incident against the same president in 21 months. On April 25th, 2026, a 31-year-old teacher from the city of Torrance, California, crossed the United States by train to reach this hotel. A graduate in mechanical engineering from the California Institute of Technology in 2017. A master's in computer science from California State University in 2025. He had checked into the 10th floor of the Washington Hilton days before the event. He was carrying a shotgun, a handgun, and several knives, weapons purchased within the past 2 years. He was taken alive after firing near the ballroom's checkpoint.
Just get me back in
One
the fight,
officer
Doc.
hit in the body armor survived. The acting attorney general stated the shooter was targeting administration officials, likely including the president. The suspect is refusing to cooperate with the investigation. In July 2024, a bullet grazed the same president's ear in Butler, Pennsylvania. In September of that same year, an armed man was caught at the presidential golf course in Florida. Now, April 2026, Washington Hilton. 3 attempts, 3 completely different scenarios, 21 months. The Secret Service is responding well each time. The question that remains is how long the reaction can keep compensating for the failures in prevention. Because the failures are real, and they are not speculation. Representative Mike Lawler, Republican from New York, called what happened at the Hilton glaring security issues.
Clear left.
Absence of identity verification and access to the ballroom. The hotel kept open to the public during the event. Lack of tracking on how many lawmakers were inside the ballroom and where they were seated. The blind spot of the camera-less room. Each failure in isolation looks small. Stacked together, they formed the corridor the shooter walked through. From the train station in Los Angeles, to the 10th floor room, to the camera-less room, to the stairs, to the checkpoint, to the gunfire. The Secret Service defense worked where the defense was. At the checkpoint, in the body shield, in the choreographed evacuation of the stage. But the defense wasn't everywhere it needed to be. The Hilton wasn't picked at random by the shooter. The hotel has hosted the Correspondents' Dinner for decades. The address is public. The date is public. The shooter arrived days earlier. The physical perimeter was set. The human perimeter inside the physical perimeter, not. The president walked out alive. The wounded officer is recovering. And somewhere in Washington, someone is reviewing the camera map of the Washington Hilton. Now I want to hear from you. 3 attempts in 21 months against the same president. Do you think it's statistical coincidence, or is there a pattern nobody wants to face? And more, if a hotel of that size, with a Secret Service perimeter set up, still had a room without a camera, where else do blind spots like this exist? Drop your take in the comments. The debate starts down there, and I read every single one. If you made it this far and you haven't subscribed yet, hit subscribe and tap the bell. Because the next video is already in production, and it's heavy. We're going to break down how the Secret Service rebuilt presidential protection doctrine after the Butler attempt in 2024. And why that overhaul didn't anticipate the Hilton scenario. You won't want to miss it. Subscribe. tap the bell, and see you next time.